I'm sure there's a girl out there who you're really into and she kind of thinks you're pathetic. Maybe she's even mildly disgusted by you. It's a humiliating thought to think that somebody might think so low of you. It makes you angry. It makes you wonder, what is wrong with women? Why are they so cruel? Why are they never responding? Why they don't let me even talk to them? Why are they such bitches? I understand why men then turn to video games, to excluding themselves from society, to saying all women are the same, and they turn to the black pill movement, they turn to the men going their own way movement, and they just stop trying to even get female energy because it's so toxic, right? They just watch porn, play video games, scroll, watch sexy pictures online, but never interact with women anymore in real life. Some of the things I'm gonna say in this video might be hard pills to swallow, but I want you to keep watching because it is crucial for you to understand those realities, those perspectives, and understand why women are the way they are. So in this video, we're going to talk about 4 parts. We start with the harsh truth. Basically, why it is normal that she doesn't respect you, why she rightfully thinks you're average, and why you shouldn't expect a hot girl to have any respect for you. We then move on to talk about the root cause for this behavior. Is it genetics? Is it the product of our society? Why are women behaving like that? Then we put ourselves in her shoes and we're trying to see the world from the woman's perspective. This is really important to understand and make a habit for you if your plan is to have attractive women in your life in the future. And finally, let's take action. We're gonna look at the things you can do today to get your power back, to become attractive to the women that you desire. Because at the end of the day, you can't really change society. You have to accept how it is. You can't change biology to an extent, but you can change yourself. Part 1, the harsh truth. Do genetics have something to do with the fact that some guys get more attention of women than others? Of course. I don't want to bullshit you. I want to be honest with you. Some guys are just born taller, with a wider jaw, and they just fit the modern beauty standard more. Okay, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to complain about it? Are you going to cry about it? Are you going to, as I said, exclude yourself from society entirely because of that? There's no point in that. And there is a positive side to this. In my experience, the Chad, right, the guy who's really attractive and popular in high school, he also never has to try. He's actually quite lazy. Most Chads, they peak in high school because it's so easy for them to go through life. They never have this from zero to hero phase or where they really want to show it to someone. So they get lazy, which gives you an advantage. You can outwork them. You can be disciplined and get ahead. And because, especially on the male side, not everything is about genetics and beauty, it is more like that on the female side, right? We judge women more by their beauty than they judge us by our looks. So as men, we can outwork each other. But let's be honest, your biology and DNA is not the only shortcoming you have with women, right? And if you only focus on that, you're basically a loser who just gave up. There's so many elements that make a guy attractive. Let's look at your fashion, your hygiene. Like, are you really communicating something about you through your fashion? Can I look at you for 1 second and kind of figure out who you are, what you want to express about yourself? Or you just wear whatever is in your closet or what you bought with your mom years ago? How is your hygiene? Are you trimmed right now? Do you have like a lot of hair on your neck? What about your eyebrows? Is there eyebrows between your eyes? How is your breath? When was the last time you got a dental cleaning? All these stuff are factors that you have to count in. So you might be doing all these things, good, but in my experience, a lot of guys don't even think about that stuff. So why would she respect you? Then we live in a society where, yes, a lot of people spend a lot of time on their phone. You have to accept that. Hot girls spend a lot of time on Instagram. And who blames them? It's fun. They get engagement. They can share stuff. They can talk to their friends there. They get funny memes. They get a lot of validation there. And again, who can blame them? You should therefore also exist on social media. You can use the same principles. So how is your Instagram profile? Do you even have an account? How many photos did you post? Are they, again, communicating something attractive about you? Do you fit a certain archetype that is attractive to women? Or did you just post up 3 group photos with your male work colleagues and then 2 photos of butterflies and a nice landscape of a sunset that nobody cares about? And worse than that, you're just not that charming. You come off as weird, creepy, uncalibrated, and mainly inexperience. Your body language is off, your conversation topics are boring, either on the extreme side of when you're really nervous with a hot girl of asking way too many questions, or on the other side not knowing at all what to say, and then it kind of lands in the middle of you just being a boring generic guy. Couple that with your lack of eye contact, but then secretly staring at girls and your voice going up when you talk to them. Hi Lisa, how are you? You clearly give off a super creepy vibe, and you just show her you are stressed around hot women. And I'm not saying this to shame you. I'm saying this because I've been in the same position for so many years, and I hated that about my life. I was pretty good at school. I was, about to be a engineer, a software engineer. I knew, okay, I'm gonna make money in the future. Maybe I can even earn enough to build a cool lifestyle. Maybe I can be a digital nomad. Maybe I can travel the world and, take photos and experience cool sights and meet people from different cultures. But really I knew, if I don't fix this, if I don't learn how to be calibrated around hot women, my life will be shit. What's the point of traveling around the world when you don't know how to talk to people? What's the point of having a lot of money and, having status with cars and jewelry and a cool position, but you cannot even say hi to the girl you really want to talk to? You're always gonna just meet the basic girl, the one who chooses you, the one where you with her and you're like, okay, this is better than nothing, but you're still always dreaming about these higher value, hotter girls. And you're always gonna know it's your fault because you didn't do any of the stuff that I just mentioned and more, all the stuff I talk about on this channel, and you will have to blame yourself when you're older. Let me tell you a story about my friend Robbie from New York. He's a great guy, but to be honest, he's not special in any sense. He's a bit chubby, he's not particularly funny, he's not crazy charismatic, he's my height or even a bit shorter than me. He dresses just in jeans and a polo shirt or black t-shirt, very basic. He doesn't wear jewelry, he doesn't show any status, and he's even balding, and he's always trying to hide it with like combing his hair around his head. So he's basically a pudgy, average American who's into golf. But he did master one skill. And it's gonna sound so basic, it's gonna almost sound crazy to you. He did master the skill of being himself. And not just being himself by himself in his room or with his friends and with his best buddies and with his parents. He mastered the skill of being himself around hot women. He's not changing himself when supermodel level women are in the room. He's not trying to be funny. He's not suddenly coming up with stories where he was cool and he was the hero. He's not using any pickup lines. He's not trying to be closer to them or show or name drop or anything like that. He would just stay exactly the same. He's just being himself 100% of the time, which is a skill I've almost not witnessed with any other man, especially in the higher echelons of society, in anyone else yet. And I know this because I've been traveling around the world with him. I've been in so many situations with him. Day gaming in Ukraine, house parties in Budapest, music festivals, benders in New York City, bikini shoots on the Maldives. With women, without women, he would be the same guy. This might be strange to you. Maybe you don't understand. Alex, what are you talking about? What's so hard about just, not changing your behavior when you are around hot girls? Probably you're thinking that you're just not around really hot girls enough. Like I remember, especially one girl. We were at this party, it was in Cyprus, and this girl, like, when a girl walks in the room and you just have to stare at her, you cannot take your eyes off her. You realize you're being weird, but you just can't. Like your biological DNA, your conditioning, you just have to stare at her. She just melts your face off. So we spent a week together with this girl and like 15 other girls. I was being weird every time she was in the room. I would change my behavior. I would either eat faster, drink slower, fix my posture, try to look cool, put my arm on another girl to make her show that I'm cool. Like just all these behaviors that just I don't do when she's not in the room. I wasn't the only one. Every guy who interacted with her during this trip was instantly changing his behavior, except Robbie. He was being himself. He didn't give a fuck. And of course, he knows what's going on, right? Of course, he isn't just not thinking she's hot. He admitted, yes, she's probably one of the hottest girls he has seen in his whole life, but he has the ability to just chill out. Robbie was relaxed, and that confused her. Like, not just her, a lot of women. They're like, what's up with him? Why is he so normal? He doesn't look like an alpha, right? He doesn't look like the cool, chill guy. He looks just a normal American. What's wrong with him? What's going on there? So they get really intrigued. They try to tease him. They try to test him. They nag him, so to say, which is amazing by itself, right? Like, usually, if you know anything about like old pickup techniques, it's like, oh, you should nag the girl, which again just shows that you're interested in her. You're doing something to her. With Robbie, it's different. Girls are trying to get something out of him. They're so intrigued by his rock solid behavior that they trying to test him, but he was solid. Now, is he just a natural? Is he just born without emotions? No. How did Robbie learn all these skills? 10 years of day game, house parties, VIP parties, being at the best festivals, hanging out with models all the time. I mean, his story is pretty crazy. He basically, spent hundreds of hours on VIP tables in clubs, and he was not always like that, right? We all come from some point of insecurity and lack of abundance, and the guys who are really solid and don't act weird around women, they had to earn it. And he's one of them. And it took him many, many years. So why am I telling you this story? Didn't I just say it's good to be fit, it's good to have good hygiene, and guys with, wide jaw and born taller with biological advantages have it easier? Yes. And that's the crazy part. Robbie is average height, a bit chubby, as I said, doesn't dress particularly well, and he has the biggest advantage. He was out chatting all the chats because he mastered of being himself. As I said, not just being himself, but he's being himself around hot women, which is a totally different ball game. Even chats and cool guys are constantly trying to impress hot women. Nobody is safe from it, so you really have to earn that skill. And it's so special because she knows, as the hot woman going through life, she constantly sees every other guy not acting normal. She constantly, and she has a sixth sense for that, sees guys trying to impress her, name dropping, flicking photos of cars and yachts on phones, just being extra nice and so on. Almost like it's an NFT, or it's a really rare NFT if you have the ability to just be normal. She will appreciate that. You will stand out in her world instantly. Rich guys think, oh, I will stand out by being really rich, or by showing her my house, or how big my company is, or showing up in a very expensive suit, or telling her how I got that watch. That's not special to her. If she's really high level, she sees that shit all the time. So the most rare metric on that, baseball card or Pokemon card that you can have in your skill set is being normal, relaxed around hot women. And you have some level of self-awareness, and you are able to be honest to yourself, you can admit that you are not relaxed around hot women. You're not being yourself. You are changing your behavior as soon as a desirable woman is entering the room. So your 2-year goal should be become relaxed around hot women. Part 2, the root cause. The reality is, women are hardwired to ignore most men. It is in their DNA. The hot women, they know they're desired. They get that signal all the time, and they are wired, because they're top women, to go for the top man. And then if you go for the top man, why would you give attention to everyone else all the time as well? This is seen in almost every society. This is seen in a lot of animals. Like, think about monkeys, right? It's just, that's the way it is. Again, you can complain about it, you can cry about it, but at the end of the day, there has been billions of years evolution. And of course, now we also have crazier status symbols than ever before, and we have social media, and we have AI and filters and all this other bullshit. But it really comes down to the principles of top women want to date a top man. The good news is, it's not that hard to climb up the ladder. Actually, and I'm going to talk about this later, the fact that there is social media and that we are globalized is a huge opportunity for you. And also, the fact that so many guys are now addicted to all these dopamine machines, right? They're addicted to porn, to social media, swiping, consuming all day, being on YouTube, computer games, gives you an edge. If you just cut all that bullshit out, if you have a clean diet, you don't smoke weed, you don't drink alcohol, you don't spend hours on social media, video games, and all this other bullshit entertainment stuff, you have the chance to become a top level guy. It won't happen in 1 week, but if you focus for 1 or 2 years and also focus on a career, not constantly trying to become a crypto trader or switching project every couple of weeks, and you're focusing on your charisma, which is part of what I talked about, focusing on becoming relaxed around women, focusing on your eye contact, communicating a lot around women, having female friends, all that stuff, you will be a high value man within 2 years, and then you can date the women you truly desire. They will give you attention because you outworked and outcompeted all these other lazy motherfuckers.
Yes, I am.
And be careful of glorifying the good old days, right? Like when we lived in villages and everything was great and we focused on family and there wasn't all this toxic other stuff around. There's a little bit truth to that, but think about the actual reality. As a high value man, I don't know, 100, 500 years ago in a village, you were dating around your same level of status and attractiveness, and you couldn't really level up that much. You had a few choices. You went to school with a few girls and you probably got married really early. And let's be honest, the women probably not that hot, Like, let's put up some photos of village girls from 500 years ago. So when people complain about the good old days now, really what they're complaining about is that society solved the problem for them of not getting women. People who complain about this, they're sitting at home, they don't get any women because they're not taking any action. And they're like, if I would just be a man from the Middle Ages, I would have just been assigned a wife and I would get married and lose my virginity easier. And then I can just be a husband until I die and work in the field. Wow, so amazing. What glory days. I think modern society is way better for dating if you take action. Like, think about it. We're not in villages anymore. We're in cities more. You can learn online. You can download courses. You can have a mentor. You can go out on the street and approach 10 women every day without consequences. You don't have to be worried about your status in your little tribe. You can improve. You can even be a bit cringy for the first few hundred approaches. You can hone that skill. You don't need to rely on whoever sits next to you in school and that's who you're gonna marry. You can take action. You have choice now. You can also say no. You can delay things. You can say, I will not get married in my 20s. I will figure stuff out. I will become a high value man and then really choose the woman I really like in my 30s. Cool. None of this existed back then. So be careful glorifying the old days. And the same for women, right? They have more choice now as well. Yes, there is globalization. I'm going to talk about this in a bit. And it gives them the ability to live out their hypergamy, right? The industrial revolution and especially internet led to women, yes, being able to really take advantage of their beauty and their abilities to date a high value man globally. And that's not a bad thing for men either. The Playboy magazine was started in 1953. And do you think Hugh Hefner started it because he's so passionate about photography or print or educating the masses on lifestyle? Of course not. He wanted an excuse to live with 30 girls in a house, basically, right? He managed to live the life of an ancient king, of a sultan with his harem, but in the modern world. And everybody accepted it. I mean, that's amazing. He was and is a modern day king. What a great opportunity for certain guys. Is he taking away some women from other guys? Therefore, mathematically, yes, kind of, right? I mean, if he lives with 20 chicks in one house and there's 19 guys now living alone, kind of. But that's kind of my point again. You have to outwork other guys, and it is easier than ever to outwork other people because everybody is a dopamine addict these days. I saw that in a video. Imagine you would have a friend who's smoking cigarettes 6 hours a day, like erratically, like one after the other. You would be like, bro, what the is wrong with you? Go to the hospital. You need to go to the clinic. You need a doctor. You need help. This is insane. But it's totally fine these days to swipe on Instagram, watch 6 hours of YouTube, go a little bit porn, jerk off here and there. That's fine because we're all doing it now. So it's been a thing for decades that men try to improve their lifestyle by using industrial revolution and then forms of media to level themselves up, being high value men, getting attention, right? And women also using media to get out of their village. They realize, I'm beautiful. I should not fucking stay in this tiny fucking village. I should go to the big city. I should meet the big man. I don't want to get 4 kids and then still have to work on the field. I can move to the city. I can marry a businessman. Not that that's like the ideal marriage and stuff, but you get their idea. Like, why would I do this if I can do that? So that's not a new idea. Obviously, now it got accelerated by 100x. It all changed with the internet, and then the internet led to social media. It led to having a phone in our pockets, it led to all having an online presence, and it led to accelerating this process even more and making it even more globalized. Now there is Swedish models getting DM'd by Brazilian promoters and flown out. There is Russian girls being flown to Dubai. There is Spanish girls spending time in Israel, partying in Tel Aviv. It's quite crazy these days, right? But it's not a new thing. It's just what already existed over not hundreds of years, but if you truly think about it from a DNA aspect and what we actually want in life, for millions and billions of years. Now we just have the tools and the technology to make it happen on a global scale. And this is again where I am empathetic to guys being overwhelmed and either reacting with angriness or depression or just basically quitting the game, right? Just being like, fuck this. I will never be the Chad from New York City with the penthouse apartment and da-da-da. And they're getting demotivated, they give up. I understand, it can be overwhelming. Mainly because we're so status driven these days through these platforms that you think that this is what is a high value man. That you think the guy with the sports car, or even worse, the guy with the rich family who didn't even have to work to get the sports car, is the most attractive one. Media and what the algorithm feeds us might make us think that way. But trust me, it is not that way. I'm always coming back to charisma and cool lifestyle opportunities that you can give to girls. And like the story with Robbie, being relaxed around hot girls is the real NFT. It's the real rare attribute that you need to develop and can develop to attract hot women and also keep them. I do agree. Do athletes attract some hot women? Do, rich CEOs attract hot women? Social media influencers, the guy with the Ferrari, yes, of course, it grabs attention, right? Who can look away? But trust me also that I've met a lot of super beautiful women in my life that had one conversation with these types of guys and they decided, this guy's a fucking idiot, this guy creeped me out, this guy's weird, this guy was just not making me comfortable, or more subtle of just like, he was nice but I wasn't into him, or yeah, he's a nice guy, but I just didn't feel the spark. Stuff like that. Because he never focused, or these type of men always relied on their wealth, they always relied on their status, and they think this is what leads to them dating hot women long term. So I do understand how it can be overwhelming, and this is why I created the Social Academy. In the Social Academy, I talk about the 7 levels of the social hierarchy pyramid to give this leveling up. What does it mean to be a strong man? What does a king even do? And what does it mean? So I give that whole thing more structure. I explain that in 7 videos. And I also talk about the 5 elements of modern dating. What are the important metrics a man has to work on to be perceived as a high value man? And is it all equal? Spoiler alert, it's not, right? So I'm splitting it up out of 100 points. What should you work on and how much to be a high value man. So the Social Academy is half video course, half community. It's $27 a month. If you want to join, you can click below. You will join dozens of other men who are on a similar mission as you hopefully are. They want to improve themselves. They want to squeeze the juice out of life. So take it or leave it. The link is below. Part 3, understanding her perspective. In my experience with guys who are really successful with hot women, who are always around them, who are always dating, sexy girls or are in long-term or short-term relationships, all different dynamics, they all have one thing in common. They do understand her viewpoint. They do understand her perspective. And they're often trying to put themselves in their shoes. So in this part of the video, we're trying to do exactly that. And the best way to understand women, as a first tip, is get more female friends. So many men out there are so focused on getting laid that they forget, yes, you should also have female friends. It's an asset, right? You can talk to her about her insecurities, her experiences, her best first date, her worst first date, her sexuality without her feeling awkward, because if she opens up sexually to a guy who wants to fuck her, it's kind of weird. But if you're just a buddy and there's no sexual tension between you guys, she can open up more and you can learn from that and apply it in your future sexual romantic relationships. So I have a great story I want to tell you about a female friend of me. She said, I'm a nice person. I'm 26. I'm looking for a guy. I moved to Sydney from Brazil. Where should I meet guys? I try to go to chill, upscale places where I know businessmen will go. No young fuckboys. I want serious guys with careers. I start getting ready for the club around 7 p.m. I shower, makeup, choose outfit. By 9 p.m. I'm ready to go out. I'm nervous but excited. How do I look? Will other girls be hotter than me tonight? By 10 p.m. I'm at the pre-drinks. Getting in a social mood, trying to forget my boss, my ex, my bullshit week. But with my clear goal, I want to meet a great guy tonight. I go to the club at 11. Lining up till 11:30, finally getting inside, long line for girls' toilet also. So once I'm out in the club at the bar, it's basically midnight. I know I have until 2 a.m. to have a bunch of interactions. I want it to flow naturally. The men should approach me after all, because I want the kind of guy who would be confident enough to approach. I wait at the bar, scan for guys I like, sit in the smoking area, try to have open body language, and guess what? Suddenly, I'm being approached by a guy I would never date. I just know instantly, he's not for me, he's weird, awkward, nervous, he's just not my type. I try to give him a chance, I try to be nice and social, but I know the clock is ticking. It's 12:37 now. I have 1 hour and 23 minutes left. If I waste precious minutes with this guy, or worse, if the guy I like sees us talking and is too scared to approach, I wasted my entire Saturday night. So I have to be rude, act like a bitch, get him to off fast. It breaks my heart every time. It's cruel, but what should I do? Initially, I tried to be honest with them, tell him he's not my type, but they got offended. Or they tried to convince me that it should give him a chance. Desperate, needy behavior. I learned through trial and error, just be a bitch, it's more efficient. He has his own agenda. He also wants to try to find someone. I'm doing him a favor by not wasting his time. She's basically describing Tinder in real life before Tinder existed, right? She's just saying yes, no, and she talks about efficiency there. So, what else should she do? She has no choice. Do you understand now how it's not that easy for her as well? How she's not being a bitch, that she actually thinks it through logically? What is she supposed to do? F him out of sympathy? Another great thought experiment that I love to do and I want to share with you is just try to understand a day in a hot girl's life, right? Like, what does she have to deal with on a daily basis and how that probably shapes her behavior over long term. So let's imagine for a second you are a really attractive girl. Maybe imagine even the girl you're really into, or somebody from high school, or somebody from a magazine. Just imagine you're that person now and you're walking out of the house. You walk out of the house. In general, she's bombarded with attention as soon as she takes one step. She walks out, she gets a catcall from a construction worker, she gets on the bus, guy with a girlfriend keeps looking over her the whole time. She arrives at a coffee shop to get her morning coffee. The barista is like extra nice to her, asks her a bunch of questions, compliments her hair, asks where she bought that bag. She knows he doesn't really care, he just trying to make conversation with her. Not a bad thing, but it just adds up. Then she's going to an appointment, she's calling an Uber, And the Uber driver sees her in the back and he starts asking a lot of questions. He gets kind of weird when he finds out that she's also Polish. Oh, wow, my family is Polish. Which city? Oh, yes, look, a photo of my cousin here, da. What's your number, by the way? You can put it in the phone. Then she arrives at her appointment. One guy acting weird already out of the office, nervously trying to talk to her, goes to the doorman, also weird. Then two other guys acting loud and crazy, fighting to show off on her. Guy sits next to her offering to help her with every task, right? So maybe she's at some workplace, or let's say she's at university, and just like as soon as she enters, people are on her. People ask her, hey, do you need any help with this? Or did you do that? Or did you do it right? Or should I check? Or what happened there? And She's like instantly trying to make conversation. Let's again assume she's at university. Teacher makes fun of her because he's frustrated that girls like her don't like him. So isn't that a bit weird and creepy? Yes, but even for a super young girl, let's say this girl is 18 years old and she's going to university, she will already have learned for several years that older guys, and I mean old, like 40s, 50s, are weirdly hitting on her without hitting on her. They're just giving her a little extra attention. They're like, even her uncle is like, oh, so what are you going to choose to study? Maybe I'll help you decide. It's a very important decision for you. And there's just this constant, weird, awkward, creepy sexual tension around her from all men. And maybe especially old men, because they are depressed and they're like desperate for this youth energy that she represents. So, no surprise to her that the teacher is acting weird. It's happened to her for several years now. One guy who she kissed drunk at a party last week, he's needy and weird. He's texting her. He's looking at her at the hallway. He's kind of waiting. What is this now? What are we? We kissed. I mean, yeah, you're my girlfriend now, this kind of vibe. She opens Instagram, guy sending her dick pics and asking for feet pics, offering her money to do whatever stuff with her. She goes home. Her neighbor chats with her awkwardly long. As she's trying to get into the apartment, he keeps talking all the time. And he's telling her about the pot plant he bought and nature and how nature is very important and how, plants also have feelings just like women, just like her. And she's really a special person. And, he can see in her eyes that she's really good soul inside and blah, blah. So you can see how in one day, most, if not all, interactions with men she has are awkward, are putting unnecessary tension in her life, are just annoying, right? It's like, and that's just one day. Imagine 10 days. Imagine 365 days. Imagine 10 times 365 days. She's probably aware that she's beautiful, hot, attractive, desired since she's 14, 15 years old. So if you meet a 24-year-old smoke show, she has an insane ability to see through the bullshit. She has so many rep after rep every day, right? She's basically been at the social gym 12 hours a day for years. She's jacked socially. She just sees your bullshit. She sees you're nervous. She sees you putting on an act. And again, that's why Robbie is so successful. He's meeting those 22-year-old, 24-year-old, 26-year-old smoke shows, and it's so surprising to them that, oh my God, finally a guy who is not making my day worse. Finally a guy who is making it at least neutral, and then here and there says the right thing, and I can relax into him, and he actually asks me a good question when he actually wants to know something, and he makes my day better. So ask yourself, if you would live in this reality, if you have to deal with this every day, would you still be nice to every fucking loser who approaches you? Would you still be social and, give your time away? No. Let's be honest, you would be rude, maybe even more rude, maybe be brutally harsh to everybody who's trying to steal even 1 second out of your already stressful day. Also keep in mind, the recent societal changes, not just recent, but especially now, do affect women too, right? Yes, some girls are only relying on their beauty, and they do behave narcissistic behavior, personality disorders and stuff like that. But think about it, a lot of women now have to deal with body image issues. The filters on Instagram and media, all that doesn't make it better. It's easier to bully girls who act slutty because it's more public, it's more open, everybody's connected, everybody's watching all the time, everything is live. They get more unwanted attention through all different platforms. You could say, oh, just delete Instagram, delete WhatsApp, just don't exist online. Like, Come on, does that really work? Online stalkers, hackers, right? Databases being hacked. And it's also harder for them now to make female friends because of this constant competition and almost this habit in society that you want to outcompete each other these days for females. And, maybe even reality shows, I don't know, giving women permission to act up more bitchy with their female friends. So it's not like, a beautiful woman is born and it's all so easy for her and she just, says no to the loser guys and yes to the cool guys, and her friends are also boss bitches and everything is great. We all have it hard. Men have it hard, maybe harder than women, but it's not that easy for women either. And especially if you have the attitude that you have it so hard and everybody else has it so easy, you will just not win in life. This is not a formula to get ahead. So what are we going to do about it? Part 4, the changes you have to make. The 4 main changes I want to discuss here are mindset, marketing, social skills, and lifestyle. I hope this video helped you change your mindset around hot women and just society as a whole. Yes, we're living in a globalized world. Yes, women have it easier than ever to, pick a hot guy and getting DMs from rich guys and getting flown out to different countries, and you are competing on a global scale. Yes. They're also living under more pressure than ever. Beauty standards, hacking, stalkers, weird expectations from society, what it is to be a woman. They should now be, getting married at 28 and be a beautiful wife and really caring mother. But they should also have their own business and make money and be independent and don't let guys tell her what to do and, don't need man, but also kind of. So it is quite complex for a woman as well. In general, just the dating world is kind of messed up these days. Yes, she gets more matches on Tinder than men, but who are those dudes anyway that her inbox is filled with on Tinder? You think she wants to really meet all these guys? You think she wants to go on 100 dates, even if the guy pays for it? Have empathy. This is a crucial first step. Otherwise, you will just end up as a salty, angry, depressed loser. Second change, mentioned before, your marketing message. I love to see dating as a business as well, right? You are the product, you're running a marketing campaign, you want to present yourself well. That means hygiene, body, teeth, how you smell, how you look, how you dress, what you're communicating in the real world and in the virtual world. If you are confused what I'm talking about, like how I present myself as an archetype in the virtual social media world, like if this is all weird buzzwords to you, I understand. I made a social media dating guide where I explain how to have a sexy, attractive social media profile, and I've designed it in a way that it fits for guys who don't really want to spend that much time on social media. So I made it that you can do it within a couple of hours at the first time and then a few minutes every week to upkeep it. It's a 2 to 3 hour webinar. Click below to watch it now. The main thing you have to change is your social skills, because probably nobody taught you. You probably didn't have the father who taught you, all this stuff, or the uncle or the cool cousin. You probably have to figure it out all by yourself, but gladly there's me, there's other great YouTube channels, there's video tutorials on that stuff, and there's your ability to go out and meet women. You don't live in a village anymore. You can move now. You can travel now. You can join growth houses. You can meet other men online in the social academy, like I mentioned, or in real life on the street who are also doing cold approach, who are trying to improve their social skills. You need to learn how to hold eye contact, how to have interesting conversations, how to know when to talk and when to just shut up, to know when to keep distance and when to escalate and when to go for the kiss. This and many more things is a vital skill for life. I told you earlier, I was a good engineer. I could have made a lot of money. I knew nothing is gonna matter if I don't figure out social skills, charisma, build my character and make myself more charismatic that way. This is a non-negotiable. Even if you're in your 30s, 40s, and 50s, maybe you're like, oh, I should have done that earlier. Yes, you should have. Do it now, right? Book a call with me and you can accelerate that process massively. If you're young, you're lucky. Don't think you can put this off for later. I know you're teens are kind of to go to school and learn stuff, and then your 20s are about, finding your career and making money and building yourself as a man. And that's all very good. And I agree with that. You should not be a bum and just go out and club in your 20s and then only work in your 30s. You should learn skills. You should make money. You should maybe even start a business, or I recommend becoming really good in another person's business and soaking up all that knowledge. But you cannot ignore learning social skills as well. Even for business, the best people in business are not the ones with the best grades or who know exactly how to code and hack everything and technically the most smart. As we see with AI these days, all this stuff is going to be replaced soon anyway. The most successful people in business are also the ones who have social skills. My cold approach skills, the fact that I approached over 3,000 women on the street, helped me massively in business and networking as well. So don't think this is a thing you can delay or do later. You have to start today. Cold approaching can literally only take you 5 minutes a day. When you get your morning coffee, you see one girl, you say hi, you have a conversation. That's it. That's enough. There's no excuse. And finally, probably your lifestyle sucks as well. You're probably barely spending any time with women. And when you meet a woman on the street or in a bar or through a house party, you don't really have an interesting life to bring her into. Ask yourself, what are you doing on a weekly basis? Do you have things to offer? Do you get female energy through your hobbies? Or are you mostly working from home? All your hobbies are very male dominated. Your job is male dominated. These type of changes can happen also really quickly, but here it's okay to have a bit of more of a long-term vision, right? Maybe you live in a small city now and it just wouldn't fit to move right now, but you can envision if this project is done, or you change job here, or you can transition from this headquarter to the other one. In 1 or 2 years, you can move into a bigger city, which gives you more opportunity to meet more women and do cooler stuff, basically. Or you say you want to take a 3-month trip and use it, for seduction and approach there and really improve your social skills there. But it just can't happen now. That's cool. But at the end of the day, the principle is how much time are you communicating with women each week? And this can just be female friends. And do you have something that excites the girls that you do attract into your life? One of the biggest factors that define if your social life is good is, are you walking? Like, do you live in an area of a city, or do you live in a city where at least a couple times a week you are walking from one point to another? And as you are walking, it's not just in the woods, but it's in an area where there is people, where there is attractive women. This is huge, because if every time you say, I want to approach a girl, you have to take a 90-minute train, or you have to drive with the car somewhere, or, change your location entirely, the fact is you can be really motivated or even disciplined, but the environment will just stop you from progressing and learning better social skills. One of my clients, his name is Daniel. He was running an online biz. He was really successful, but he was never really happy. Now he started a photography collective in Poland. So every weekend he's organizing a photo shoot. He's bringing different girls and models. He's hanging out with them afterwards at a house party or at the bar. Totally transformed his social life. Then my buddy Felix, he started a hiking club. Doesn't sound sexy, but it really is. He invites girls from day game to just go hiking with him. It is a cool social offer, because they will meet other people, they will be in nature, it's not an awkward one-on-one date. So a lot of girls are saying yes to that. He recently told me he organized a 2-night trip, and the girl who came, she saw him as a leader, which is an amazing principle, right? Like, he created this little club, basically just going hiking with a bunch of people, but instantly he is now at the top of a pyramid that he created. So even though it can be overwhelming of there's these business guys who DM the hot girls, no, you can create your own local pyramid, invite girls from day game, and instantly these women will see you as the leader and they want to bang you. I hope you understand. On the one hand, now, yes, you probably have low sexual market value, but you also understand it's not the woman's fault that she ignores you. I hope you're motivated to do something about you. It's fun to watch these videos and feel good about consuming the content, but at the end of the day, if you don't take action, you will stay where you are, right? If you want things to change, you need to change your habits and behaviors and actions. This can be tough. This is not easy. I couldn't figure it out by myself. I had mentors in this. Again, click below to join the Social Academy. It's super cheap, cheaper than any porn and Tinder subscription, and you will join a brotherhood of men who are all working on themselves. Yeah, I hope you have more sympathy with ladies now. You understand it is what it is, right? Biology and society moves in a certain way and it is programmed. But the beautiful thing is we have so many tools these days, the internet, social media, programming, bots, AI, that we nerds, we analytical thinkers can use to get ahead and out-chat the chats, so to say. So let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next video.